Yo, 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 what up, everybody? Welcome to Putting Two and Two Together. This is another episode for y'all, man. I've been consistent, as you guys can see. I'm kind of getting my office organized, man. It's coming together. Looking all right, but for now, you guys just gonna have to stick with me. I don't really have everything together, but it's a process like everything is, man. And speaking of the process, my man J. Cole, Jermaine Cole, finally decided that he wants to drop his long-awaited project, The Fall Off, man. And if you guys know me, man, you guys know how big of a J. Cole fan I am and how much this means to me. He's my favorite artist of all time, favorite rapper. I love the dude. I think he's so relatable. I fell in love with his music at a young age, and I love everything that he stands for. I just think he's a great dude, and I think I've had some issues with J. Cole because one of my hottest takes, y'all, is that I believe artists need to drop. Right? I think that when you don't drop, you fall off. So ironically, I'm at a crossroads with this dude, man, and I'm excited to see kind of how he talks about that and his perspective on that. We've seen great examples of artists teasing something and not dropping. Obviously, right now, ASAP Rocky, he hasn't dropped for a while now, but ironically, him too, he's dropping too. So 2026 has been off to a great start. Bruno Mars just dropped. He's dropping his project. Music has definitely, it seems like it's going on the uproar right now. But I definitely believe that when artists don't drop, they tend to fall off. And here we are with J. Cole, one of my favorite artists. And I used to talk to my friends and about him and about how, I love J. Cole, but at the same time, like I feel like he hasn't given me enough to work with because, he's been teasing. The off season, great project, but it always just felt like it was a mixtape or warm up to The Fall Off. He said he dropped might delete later, and great songs in that project. Obviously, Pie, 3001, Pricey. Man, there's so many good songs that he's dropped, but I just felt like I wasn't getting everything from this dude. And now apparently we're getting a double disc project from J. Cole, which is very exciting. I'm very happy to see that The Real is back. Now, I want to talk about what I'm expecting from this project. I just want J. Cole to talk about everything. His career. I heard his new single where he kind of depicted his life in a backward setting. That was dope. Want a chill beat, real smooth beat, same cadence, same flow for 3 minutes. Super smooth, super smooth. And that's the rap that I fell in love with that I would love to see on this project. Obviously, we have to talk about the beef when we talk about J. Cole right now because, he was at a point where, like he said in 7 Minute Drill, right when I get to the top, that's when you got a problem with me. And I think J. Cole was really on the verge. He was killing the features. He was killing the rap game. His lyrics were undeniable. We couldn't question his pen, right? And then he got punched in the mouth by Kendrick Lamar. And I felt the way about that because I felt like he retreated. You know what I mean? I felt like J. Cole definitely has the lyrical pen to go to war with Kendrick. And I know that the Kendrick and Drake battle became more of a personal, shot attempt. Man, it came more down to culture, what the culture is feeling, other than lyrics and who can rap better. It feels like Kendrick kind of turned the narrative on Drake and made a dance song, which is all's fair in love and war, but I definitely think J. Cole retreated, and it definitely hit his image a little bit because he's been rapping about how, if anybody were to try him, he'd be the first one up the bat. And I feel like the biggest dude in the school came up to you, bro, punch you in the face, and like you didn't even do nothing about it. Just went home with a bruise on your eye, man. But the more I thought about it, the more I think about how that really is J. Cole, man. He doesn't really entertain a lot of um, beef, and he doesn't entertain a lot of bullshit. And that's what I think for the most part. I want to see what his opinion on it is. All of that in the past, I would love to just see him rap about where his headspace is at, and you know what his career is going to look like going forward. I know he talks about the fall off. What does that look like for J. Cole? Is he done rapping? I'm curious to know. I'm very curious to know. I'm very curious to see if the rest of the album is going to sound like this two song two, which is an incredible song. Incredible, incredible song. I love J. Cole and I've been with him the whole ride, and I feel like I'm Unk now. I feel like I'm Unk now when I'm seeing one of my favorite rappers um, hit the peak of their career, kind of get to a place where it was effortless, and then get to a place where they start to question themselves. And I think that this project is going to be more than just rap. I feel like a lot of people are going to have to relate to it and come to a place. I'm just wondering if we can do that with what just happened last year with the beef. Now, a lot of music is coming out this year. I hope that it doesn't get thrown under the rug. You know, Drake's got his project coming out. Apparently, Kendrick Lamar's got something coming out. I know Kendrick Lamar's gonna pop out with something after that, after these two drop for sure. That's just it's so Kendrick. But let me know what's your guys' thoughts and opinion on J. Cole dropping music again. I feel like the narrative around J. Cole is that he can rap. I feel like everybody doesn't doubt his pen, but I feel as if everybody is just disappointed with the way he handled things because we all know he can rap. That brother can rap, and we all know that he's gonna deliver on this project. We were in a place where we were saying, "Is rap dead?" No, this guy can revive rap 1000%, and I would love to see him come out swinging again, just being confident in his work. You know, in his post, he said 10 years on this project, 10 years behind this project. So I definitely do have high expectations, and I definitely want to hear some stories about what he went through in the last couple of years. I would love to hear about his family. I'm a real family man, so I would love to hear about his family and, you know, how he goes about that. But at the end of the day, I just want to make sure that we get some good music. And I think that's 100% what we're going to get. So let me know what you guys think about the whole J. Cole situation. You know, like I said in the beginning, I definitely was at a crossroads, but just seeing the album cover brought me all the way back. And that goes into my other topic about being consistent with the music. I feel as if Drake has always been my number one guy because you guys see my little poster up there or my vinyl. Some sexy songs for you. Great, great project. Great project. I feel like Drake's always been the guy because he drops consistently. You know, he drops consistently. He puts music out. He's not really afraid to put his thoughts out there. You know, he doesn't care. And that's what I appreciate about an artist when they can consistently drop. Whereas like a Kendrick Lamar could take 5 years and we'll just be like, oh, Kendrick Lamar, you know, we're gonna take whatever you drop, right? Where I feel as like a lot of artists don't really get that same. We don't get that same leeway. You know, if an artist doesn't drop for 5 years, no way you can come back from unless you're like a Bruno Mars, who's more of like an R&B singer. I guarantee if Frank Ocean came back and dropped something, we would all consume it. But I mean, I feel like it's for rappers. Why are we taking that long of a break? You know what I mean? To me, I just don't think it's fair. I feel like J. Cole has dropped, but again, like I was saying, I feel like he's only dropped mixtapes sort of projects. I've been waiting for the fall off since 2019, which is quite a long time, bro. Like I've had a kid in the meantime, which is crazy. It's literally insane to say. That's why I put Drake at the top. I love J. Cole. I think he's number one. Like I said in the beginning of the video, he's my number one favorite artist of all time. But when it comes to work and when it comes to art and when it comes to creativity, I respect the person who goes out there and puts their work out there on a pedestal for everybody to see and everybody to judge and everybody to critique. Because that's not easy to do. Even standing in front of this camera and doing certain things like this, like that takes a lot of work and that takes a lot of confidence and it takes a lot of pride to go out there and put your work out there for everybody to judge 24/7. So I think that's why Drake gets the most criticism. I think that's why he gets, the most hate because he gives y'all a lot of ammo. He posts pictures regularly. He's out and about. He's doing streams. He's doing this. So when you give people ammo, obviously they're gonna shoot at you. Whereas a Kendrick Lamar and a J. Cole, they're very private. And I had this conversation with my buddy about quality over quantity, and I believe in quality over quantity, but when the quality's good, right? That whole argument gets thrown out the window. It's not like Drake has been putting out bullshit. This guy's been putting out classic work. I wholeheartedly believe that. And, I think that sometimes music's not for everyone. Sometimes you gotta listen to a song and like come back to it later. And I feel like with Drake's music, you could always do that. Whereas, some artists you hear and it's like, yo, that's just ass. And it's that simple. You know what I'm saying? But I'm definitely not a hater of any of the big three of our generation. I definitely appreciate all their music. And I'm very, very excited. Like if it was a scale of 1 to 10 on how excited I was for all three to drop music, obviously J. Cole's at a 10. I would say Drake is about a 9 right now because I'm curious to know where his headspace is at after the beef. And I'm curious to know what angle he's going to go with, man, with Iceman. I think that he's got a lot on his plate right now, and he's ready to let everybody know. I hope we get more of a retrospective album where we kind of get his feelings, because Sexy Songs for You was more R&B, chill nighttime vibes, something to play around the ladies, real smooth project. And Kendrick Lamar, we got more of a West Coast album. I'm very eager to hear what all three of their thought process is after the beef. That's very, very exciting for me. So I would say in terms of Drake, I'm about a 9, and for Kendrick, I'm about a 9 too. I'm really eager to see what they have to say. I think music's in a great place right now. I know a lot of people talk about, oh, is rap dead? No, I think that there's elements that are rap that are not as prominent as it was back in the day, which is the upbringing of young rappers. I don't think we have that, but I think the rappers that we have right now are at an all-time peak. We got Kendrick Lamar just performing in the Super Bowl. We got Drake, who's still doing absolute insane numbers on the chart, and we got J. Cole, who is very respected and can definitely rap. Wale just dropped an incredible project. I think that the rappers that came from that 2010 era have just dominated to a level that's not really attainable right now. And I think, we're going to have to see a little bit of a shift where these rappers are going to have to go, hence the fall off, hence the final battles, the beef, to where it resets and now we can have our young rappers come up. And I think there's some great young rappers. I think JID's project was pretty solid. Speaking of, kind of older rappers, Pusha T, Malice, they just dropped an incredible project. Freddie Gibbs. If you really look back at 2025's music yearly recap, it was insane. It was insane. So I'm excited to see where 2026 goes. It's already off to an insane start. It's only January. But yeah, I was trying to think of young rappers. I was like, fuck, man, we don't really have too much. which is the problem, y'all. It is the problem. But at the same time, it only takes 2, 3 years for young rappers to kind of get with the program. Once the rappers go, once the rappers, once the current rappers go, we're definitely rap's not gonna die. I don't think art ever dies, y'all. And I think we panic sometimes, like, rap's dying, rap's low on the totem pole. Like, yeah, like things need to, what goes up must come down. Like things are gonna come down. But there's definitely rappers that are gonna elevate the scene in the next couple of years. I'm sure of it. And that's my prediction for 2027. I'm already on 2027. That's my prediction for that. I definitely think we're gonna get some young upcoming rappers who are with the shits. But these rappers just need to keep doing what they're doing, and once they go, there's gonna be more. They're like the cycle repeats for sure. So, with that being said, definitely excited, definitely hyped for the fall of J. Cole. Let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. This is a big deal to me. I definitely will be tapping in, man. But if you tapped in with the realist, putting 2 and 2 together, man, I love y'all. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Maybe share this video for your boy so, we can get some motion going on. But that's going to be it for this episode, man. Peace.